We are here as the Del Norte Local Transportation Commission meeting this day, September 4th, 2018. It is 3 o'clock, and we are going to get started here. Can you please call roll?
Commissioner Fallman?
Here.
Commissioner Himson?
Here.
Commissioner Keim?
Here.
Commissioner Short? Absent. Policy Advisor Tucker?
Here.
And Chair Howard.
Here. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready? Begin. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's go ahead and open it up for public comment. Seeing none, we're going to go ahead and bring it back to the commission and adjourn to the Policy Advisory Committee. Can I have a motion on our consent agenda today, please?
Move for approval.
We have a motion.
Seconded.
And a second. Public comment on consent agenda items only? Seeing none, we're going to go ahead and bring it back to the commission. Please poll the vote.
Commissioner Keim?
Yes.
Commissioner Hemmingson?
Yes.
Commissioner Fallman?
Yes.
Policy Advisor Tucker?
Yes.
Chair Howard.
Yes. All right, under our policy and administrative items, we have item number C, which is a Harding Avenue funding request, where the TAC and staff recommend by a poll vote adopt resolution 2018-17 approving the city's request for up to $28,402 of RSTP funding for Harding Avenue cost overruns. Tamara?
The city received a late invoice from the county about this project, and I think that given all circumstances, we would have liked to have had this information earlier, but the way things came together, we didn't get it earlier, and so we're backtracking into last fiscal year. Everybody understands that this is coming, so there isn't a problem with Trouble Benson Hartwick or the auditors in waiting for this item. We are ready to move forward with it. There were a series of unfortunate events during the construction of that project that the city, Eric, did a really nice job summarizing in his letter request. And he's here to answer any additional questions should you have them. But I believe his letter is thorough and succinct and easy to understand. And my recommendation and the TAC recommendation both is that we award this funding and move forward.
Very good. Questions from the commission?
I would move that we approve adopt resolution 2018-17 approving the city's request for up to $28,402 of RSTP money.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Let's open it up for public comment. Seeing none, we're going to go ahead and bring it back to the commission. Please poll the vote.
Commissioner Fallman?
Yes.
Commissioner Hemmingson?
Yes.
Commissioner Keim?
Yes.
Policy Advisor Tucker?
Yes.
Chair Howard.
Yes. All right, let's go ahead and move on to item number D, discussion items. First on our agenda is last chance grade. Tamara, do we have any updates?
Well, actually, I think that, were you in the, you were?
No.
You were not in the meeting.
Jerry was.
Jerry was in the meeting, yes. So, Jerry, I think it would be most appropriate for you to give the update about our meeting we had, our value analysis.
Yeah, I wasn't as impressed with the value analysis, the second value analysis meeting as the first. I thought the first we got a lot of stuff done, and the second was just an update on what we had talked about. We talked about the 7 or 8 alternatives in the first meeting, and we eliminated all the C's. Hopefully that holds. Those were the longest routes, and probably would end up being the most environmentally harming of all the routes. So we eliminated those as a group. I don't think there was anybody that said, oh, no, let's keep the C's, or one of the C's, or any of the C's. So that's 3 routes that are taken off of our list of having to study. The other routes are within close proximity of each other, so the study area is much smaller. I think it's going to be a much quicker process. I personally am hoping that the tunnel options go by the wayside. They seem to be way too expensive for what we get out of them, especially F. I don't see that being a viable option because of the cost. But all in all, it was very good. The first meeting I thought was very good, and then we probably could have wrapped up in a lot shorter time on Friday with the information that was had of what they came out with. But all in all, it was good. Glad I participated, glad I was there. I don't know if there was anything else that I'm rolling.
We did, there was one option potentially added.
Oh, yeah.
A new.
A new, yes. So,
Seeking a new name, but a new.
a new. Yeah, which was one of the A routes that they were going to cut over sooner rather than making the big loop down at the bottom. They thought maybe they could come across, but that's something that still has to be looked at, but still within close proximity of where they're studying already, so that should be a pretty easily done. I did forget about A new, so we took off 3, added 1, you know, 2 steps back, 1 step forward, I don't know. But yeah, but that was a good proposal, I think. Also, L, I think needs some looking at. I think that looks to me like it's probably the most viable, or one of the A's, the A2. I think A2 was without the tunnel, I think. And then if you take A new and incorporate that into A2, it's hard. Well, I do have the maps and stuff here, but it's hard without a projector screen or something.
But I think too that we really need to have the geological completed before any of this. I mean,
it's all a shot in the dark right now.
It really is. We just don't know what's there.
There's a lot of slides on both sides of that hill or mountain or whatever you want to call it, but there's a lot of slides. They're not any better on the east side than they are on the west side, so
that's right.
We need to navigate through those and get the best route. But I think we're on the right track. We got the right road going, so hopefully all is good. So if you want to add anything, go ahead.
At the end of the meeting, there was a question about funding, and I just want to be clear with this group that the question was asked, and Caltrans answered it very clearly, that if SB1 is repealed, this project will not go forward. Caltrans will be taking projects off the table that are currently in construction. The idea that we would move forward with a, $50 to $70+ million environmental document for a project that is so far into the future, while the state is taking projects off the table that are, approaching or already in construction, it won't happen. And I want to be honest with everybody about that if Prop 6 passes, which repeals SB1, if that passes, then we should all just really wave bye to last chance grade for now. It's just not a viable funding option to expect our state to participate while our state is also voting not to fund transportation projects.
Who sent that message, Tamara?
Who sent that message?
Jamie Mattioli?
Jamie answered the question directly, yeah.
And that was given by Matt or their new director?
I don't know where the answer came from Jamie. Matt was not in the meeting. But
are you aware?
Okay. Were you in? You were not in the meeting.
I was not at the meeting. Just based on how funding works in California, SB1 contributed a significant addition of funding, and that's what we used in the case of the existing money that's being used for environmental and geotechnical studies. So it seems unlikely that if that money was off the table that we would be able to continue to request funding.
Sebastian Cohen also confirmed that in the meeting. I mean, two people with an eye on the future. So just, you know,
Appreciate the heads up.
yeah, it's a hard one, but you know, from my perspective, we can't have it both ways. We are very much a recipient community for transportation funding. We very much a recipient community. Taxpayer dollars are raised throughout the state, and other areas of the state of California contribute many, many dollars for Del Norte's transportation system. And without this whole state supporting transportation funding, you know, I mean, we are a drop in our own bucket. Actually, we are, you know, dust in the state's bucket. But we are honestly a drop in our own bucket of transportation funding. And it's, I think it's important for people in communities like ours to understand that even though folks in our area will be paying more, we are not contributing even close to what we receive in transportation dollars.
Right. Okay, well, let's move on and talk about a new subject. US Highway 199 at the Elk Valley Crossroad intersection.
Well, I'll give the update at the same time for the Elk Valley Crossroad Corridor Plan, if I may.
Please.
The request for proposals was posted. We received one response. The TAC has agreed to repost it and to extend the project completion deadline. Our grant award allows for that, to see if we can get more proposals in and to have more choice about this. The consultants are busy right now with work initiated by SB1, but consultants in transportation planning are really busy. But when you extend the time frame for the project, we believe that we'll be able to attract more proposers. So the project will still take place within a one-year time frame, but the start date will be more flexible for a consultant team who wants to submit a proposal but doesn't have the bandwidth to do it. So for instance, for the next 6 months, many consultants report that they're booked for the next 6 months. So if we want a project by the end of June, which was our original time frame, then they just can't propose because we need the product before they would be able to take the time to work on it. So we expanded our end date time frame. We're careful not to stretch the project out for more than a year because it's hard to keep a planning effort in the community engagement moving forward for that long. So we are still keeping our timeline compressed to 1 year, but we may move that somewhere on a scale of timeline. So that information will go a long way forward to informing what's possible for the US 199 intersection at Elk Valley Crossroad. But this would be an operational improvement project, not a safety project, because it doesn't yet qualify, and we've looked at that many times. And again, operational improvement projects are not going to be funded if we don't have any money in the state for transportation funding. And I don't want to give false hope to folks, because we're moving forward with a corridor planning, that even if Prop 6 succeeds, that this project will move forward. There will be probably no operational improvement projects moving forward. So we're moving forward with it because we have current law right now, and we're moving forward with the expectation that, you know, under what is our current law.
Great. Well, terrific. Thank you for that report. Let's go ahead and take up the items under Commissioner comments and reports at this time. We'll start with Kevin. Heidi?
No comment or report.
Jerry?
Yeah, I'm good. I did go down to the North Deal meeting. That we did have some discussion. Most of it was around last chance grade. There are some things that are going to be going on in this county. The Collier Rest area rehab project, the Dr. Fine Bridge project is still on course. I think that's, at the time, was about a $50 million project. By the time we get it now, starting in 2022, it's probably going to be more, I would guess. Originally, I think they were planning on starting that this year, and pushed it off to 2020, and now it's 2022. So, that's going to be another one of those funding things. But there's things going on.
Very good. Thanks, Jerry. I've got 2 items that I want to bring up and discuss briefly.
Oh, there was one other thing. I did make a request, sorry. My brain's not working anymore. I'm getting too old for this job, I think.
We agree.
Yeah. I did have some comments from the public on some turn pockets on 101
Okay.
at Wonder Stump, Wilson Lane, and where the Dollar General
Okay.
is. Seen an awful lot of skid marks going off the road, and that's never a good thing. Those usually mean either something happened or there was a very close call.
Yeah.
So I think those need to be have a look taken at them. So I did request that they look at those, so I'm sure I'll get a report back.
If you can remind me where Wilson Lane is?
It's down
Just
just before you get to the dollar store.
Yeah, just,
Okay.
it's 2 streets, so next one, you got Timber Lane, which is the dollar store, then you get Denny Lane,
Okay.
and then you get Wilson Lane.
Okay.
And so I'll carry on with Jerry's comments because that was going to be part of my report today. Both Kevin Tucker and David Morgan came to our meeting of the Smith River Neighborhood Watch to address this issue specifically. I'd like to thank Kevin and David for doing that. I think they received some great information specific to what Jerry's referencing as far as turn pockets, near misses, and other areas that we haven't generally been paying attention to but have been recognized by community members of being dangerous in the 101 corridor. And the area that we're referring to in that 101 corridor that we referenced was from the Fred Hay Drive north of the Oregon border. Those are the areas we discussed. I think both David and Kevin touched a great deal upon the area specific to Timber Lane where the new Dollar General store came in, but residents also brought up a great deal of concern at that Wilson Lane intersection, and then just even further south of that, the Morrison Creek intersection has been extremely problematic, and I know both David and Kevin said they would be looking into it. One of the short-term resolutions that we decided to run with and we saw in the paper was to address it with the Delaware Transportation Commission's new webpage, and I know Jessica was able to get that out in a triplicate article most recently. But the other thing that we haven't heard follow-up on from David and Kevin yet, and I'm hoping Kevin could address it today, was potentially putting some cameras on poles at that intersection to actually record some of the visuals of what we've seen during the summer out there. So Kevin, can you help address that, please?
Yeah, so David did respond to the triplicate, and basically we didn't want to specify when they were going to be put up, just because we don't want to influence driver behavior. We wanted to reflect what's actually going on out there. So to preserve that, the cameras are going to be put in place to assess the situation. I can't tell you when, though.
That's hedging your bets. But my hope is that sometime in the near future, because we have so much right-of-way corridor along Highway 101, especially south of what would be the old first chance, last chance liquor store, we lose our center divide lane. And I know we got a center divide from essentially there all the way to the Oregon border north, but we don't continue that south for whatever reason. At the time, it just wasn't installed. It'd be good for us to reconsider something like that. I think it would help alleviate a lot of what the community has expressed as near misses, close calls, and then the fatality that happened to one of our employees' fathers several weeks ago. So hopefully we'll get that addressed. And then the other thing I wanted to touch base on, I'm not sure what the status is. Kevin, I'm hoping you can help us out here again. 199 at the 10.8 mile marker, we had discussed last year some resurfacing that would add a I don't remember what you called, high friction surface.
Yeah, the
Thank you, Jerry.
HFST,
Your
yeah.
brain's not doing as bad as I thought it was.
Yeah.
So the high friction surface, I know you said it was out to contract, but nobody potentially had bid on it. Do you have a status update for that piece yet? No.
So there was some work completed. There was a kind of a quick project to do some specific locations. I don't recall if it was exactly at 10.8, but I know that there's a larger project going on in that area that takes a little bit longer to develop. So I'll have to check back to see what the specific locations were for the high friction surface treatment, and then also the larger project, and I can bring that information to a future meeting.
Yeah, that'd be great to get an update on that before rains hit this year. Because last time we discussed it, I think it was April, and we were still waiting to see it completed. Okay. That's all I have. Tamara, do you have anything? Okay, very good. Let's go ahead and take up actions. We'll go ahead and move back to our Policy Advisory Committee and take up the recommendations. We'll adjourn as the Policy Advisory Committee and take up the recommendations of the Policy Advisory Committee as the Commission.
I would move that we approve and adopt the actions taken by the Policy Advisory Committee.
We do have a motion
Seconded.
and a second. Public comment, please. Seeing none, we're going to go ahead and bring it back to the Commission and poll the vote.
Commissioner Keim?
Yes.
Commissioner Hemmingson?
Yes.
Commissioner Fallman?
Yes.
Chair Howard?
Yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you all. Helps us move forward with paying bills. Moving along. Do you have a minute? I do. I'll share with you my read the newspaper about the city council meeting tonight little litany.